Hello dear students and welcome to EduTap. Guys, we are back with the series for NABARD Gr A for phase 1 for 2021. So guys, if you can hear me and if you can see me, just give me a thumbs up in the chat box. And today guys, we are going to start again with the um, whole series. I'll start from the first session itself because I know many of you were busy preparing for RBI. And we are done with RBI yesterday, so I think it is time we started preparing for the upcoming exams. So where is the next upcoming exam would be NABARD, right? Guys, give me a thumbs up if you can see me, if you can hear me, guys. Good evening, Sonali. Hello, Aarti. Guys, I know you've been ardently waiting for these sessions. So guys, we are again beginning with sessions for NABARD now. So guys, for those of so these sessions, so the only session that we're going to take today, that will be introduction for phase 1, right? What the paper looks like and what needs to be focused in English section particularly, right? So guys, first of all, let me start with the year-wise cutoff of the previous years so that we can understand that what should be our aim and how should we prepare, right? First of all, guys, in phase 1, the number of questions on English are 40 questions, right? So you will be given 40 questions of English language, which includes grammatical questions, vocabulary-based questions, as well as comprehension-based questions, right? And again, one question holds 1 mark. So, whatever, whichever questions you get right, you will score 1 mark for it. But there is obviously a negative negative marking, deduction for marks for every wrong answer as well, right? Guys, let's look at the year-wise cutoff of the previous years. So guys, out of 40 questions, the cutoff has never crossed 14 in the last couple of years. So guys, I'll give you the individual cutoff of English. In 2017, it was 6 I think it was 6.25. That was quite low out of 40. In 2018, it was 13.25. In 2019, it was 10.75. And in 2020, it was 8.5. So guys, by looking at these numbers, you can easily understand that what should be your aim and how much should we aspire to score in English, because English is a big chunk in this particular paper, guys. So please be very, very attentive because English, ARD and ESI, these are the three big chunks of this particular phase, NABARD phase 1. So guys, let me show you the breakage of all the different verticals of this paper. So this was the syllabus for the prelim exams 2020, and this year also it is going to be the same, guys. So the total test was for 2 hours. So you had 120 minutes to attempt 200 questions, and every question was for 1 mark. The maximum marks was 200, right? So for reasoning, the weightage was 20. For English, it was 40. For computer knowledge, it was 20. General awareness, it was 20. Quantitative aptitude, it was 20. ARD and ASI, again, 40 and 40. So as I told you, these are the three big verticals of this paper, and you should start working in this direction, guys, very, very carefully. Because out of 200, if you score well out in these three sections, ARD, ESI, and English, I mean, more than 60-70% of your paper is done, guys. You're only left with 80 marks, which is for current affairs, quantitative aptitude, general awareness, quantitative aptitude, computer knowledge, and reasoning ability. It's very easy to score 40 out of those. So if you go to that score, 130, 140 plus, I think it's a good score. I mean, it's an excellent score, guys, right? Aarti, there is no sectional timing. You'll be given composite 2 hours, right? No, Vivek, there is no sectional timing. So you'll be given composite 2 hours. You will have to decide which questions to take first and which questions to take later on. I will even show you the paper, the type of questions that are being thrown at you in this exam. Right, guys? So let's look at the type of questions that are being thrown at you. But before this, guys, please note down what to do before the exam. Right. So we are going to discuss now how to prepare for this particular paper, what sections do we need to focus upon, and how to go about it. So first of all, guys, start with your previous year questions, because this is, you should start with previous year questions. The reason being, you will get an idea of the level of questions, the number of questions, and the time taken to attempt those questions. So take a previous year paper, right, and try to attempt it within 120 minutes and in one go, and you will see where you stand today, and then you will get to understand which sections to focus on, right, and which areas to attempt first, and then which questions to attempt later in the paper, right? So start with the PYQ. So study in the given sequence. The sequence I'll give, this is the sequence that I'm talking about. Study from basics. Start from very basics, because there will be many grammatical questions there, and at least practice 50 questions from each and every topic. So guys, these are some verticals that I wanted to discuss. These are very crucial for your paper. So start with your subject verb agreement from the very basics in your course, starting from parts of speech and subject verb agreement. Then tenses is quite important. Conditional sentences has been very commonly seen in the questions. Preposition and complex preposition, both these chapters have always been asked in this paper. Conjunction is very commonly asked. Advanced verbs is very important. Synonym antonyms, this is vocabulary, guys. So synonym antonyms and phrasal verbs, this section is all vocabulary. So we will also discuss how to prepare that. And then this is the comprehension section, which comprises of the biggest chunk of this paper, right? Reading comprehension, which is for 10 marks, rearrangement, which was for 5 marks, and close test, which was again for 10 marks. So out of 40 questions, guys, there were 25 questions on only these three questions, these three basic verticals: reading comprehension, close test, and rearrangement. So this is the biggest chunk, and the rest of the paper, rest 15 questions, were based on grammatical sense and logical sense. Got it? So Prakhar, we have actually provided previous year questions, previous year papers in our course. So you can get that from there as well, Prakhar. Otherwise, you can try searching for it online. You may find it there as well. Right. Good evening, Lina. All right, guys. So this is one big chunk. So we can divide our preparation into 3 different verticals. First is your grammar, guys, which should be sound. Right. You should know, you should be well versed with the basic rules of grammar. Your sentence structure, syntax should be correct. Second vertical, we can say vocabulary, right, which is based on synonyms, antonyms, and phrasal verbs that are usually asked in the paper. And third is your reading ability, your reading comprehension, right? So that is the third vertical. So we have to understand that we need to prepare accordingly, at what areas to focus on, and which chapters to look at, and to start practicing, right? Close test, Shushmita, is a paragraph when it is given to you with blanks. So there is a paragraph which is given, and there are 10 blanks given in the paragraph, and for every blank you are given 5 choices. For out of those 5 choices, you have to choose the apt answer, like fill in the blanks. That's what we call close test. All right, Shushmita. So guys, let me discuss with you a previous year paper, so that you can understand that the level of questions that are being that is being thrown at you. So this is the paper of 2018. This is the exact paper of 2018, guys. So I wanted to show you this, because this was a quite lengthy paper, and it had so many questions. students felt quite quite difficult. They faced quite a bit difficulty in finishing off the paper. So the first 5 questions were rearrangement. So you were given A, B, C, D, E, F. So you were given 6 sentences, and out of these 6 sentences, you had to find the correct sequence, right? So correct sequence had to be found. So out of this rearrangement, you had to find the correct sequence of the sentences. So it's basically like a puzzle. When you solve it, although it takes time, but after you solve it, you get 5 marks straight away. So there will be these 5 questions based on rearrangement of sentences. So you'll be asked which is the second sentence, which is the first sentence, last sentence, third sentence, second sentence, and you can score 5 good marks out of this. So the whole catch here is it is time consuming, but it is scoring at the same time if you get it correct, right? So these were the first 5 questions of English section. Next was a reading comprehension passage. So just look at the language of the passage and the type of questions that they throw at you. So you will get an idea what level of questions you basically face in the exam, right? So let's try to read the passage, guys. It is difficult to compare countries because various factors such as size, culture, history, geography, natural endowments, geopolitics, and internal polity come into play. There are some goals which can be achieved by smaller countries, but sometimes smaller countries find it difficult to embark upon certain big technological plans, even if they have the funds, because the size of the domestic market is too small. If we consider the bigger countries, the closest comparison to India is China, though there are many crucial differences. The Chinese vision is to prepare the country for entry into the ranks of moderate level developed nations by the end of the 21st century. Acceleration of the nation's economic growth and social development by relying on advances in science and technology is pivotal in this. Documents describing the Chinese vision state that science and technology constitute premier productive forces and represent a great revolutionary power that can propel economic and social development. It is interesting to note that the main lessons the Chinese have drawn from their past performance is their failure to promote science and technology as strategic tools for empowerment. They also point to the absence of mechanisms and motivations in their economic activity to promote dependence on science and technology. Similarly, they hold that their scientific and technological efforts were not oriented towards economic growth. As a consequence, they conclude a large number of scientific and technological achievements were not converted into productive forces as they were too far removed from China's immediate economic and social needs. The Chinese vision is therefore aimed at exploiting state-of-art science and technology to enhance the nation's overall power and strength, to improve the people's living standards, to focus on resolving problems encountered in large-scale industrial and agricultural production, and to effectively control and alleviate pressures brought on by population, resources, and the environment. By the year 2000, China had aimed at bringing the main industrial sectors up to the technological levels achieved by the developed countries in the 1970s or 80s. By 2020, to the level they would have attained by early 21st century. The aim is to bridge the overall gap with the advanced world. There is a special emphasis on research and development of high technologies that would find defense applications. Some of these technologies are critical for improving the features of key conventional weapons. Some technologies are meant for enhancing future military capabilities. Other efforts are aimed at maintaining the momentum to develop capabilities for cutting-edge defense technologies. They call for unremitting efforts in this regard, with the aim of maintaining effective self-defense and nuclear deterrent capabilities, and to enable parity in defense, science, and technology with the advanced world. So, this was the passage. RBI Grade B new batch. हाँ पढ़ लिया ऋतुराज मैंने पैसेज आपका मैसेज राइट जस्ट स्पैम मत करो. RBI Grade B new batch. So now Ritu, you can drop us an email at this address which is given on the screen, hello@edutap.co.in, or you can also call us on this number which is given at the bottom of the screen, 81462072241, and they'll provide you the exact dates and every other detail that you wish to find out. Got it, Rituraj? All right. So guys, this is the level of English that they usually use in their passages. And what type of questions are given to you guys? So question is, comparison between two countries becomes difficult because I think the answer was in the first line of the passage. The countries differ in their internal political systems. Each country has its own culture and natural resources, which differ from those of others. The countries with homogeneous backgrounds are many in number. I think the answer was in the first paragraph. Right? It is difficult to compare countries because various factors such as size, culture, history, geography, natural endowments, geopolitics, and internal polity come into play. There are some goals which can be achieved, right? Right. So we can say the countries differ in their internal political system. That's true. Each country has its own culture and natural resources which differ. Yes, that's true. Countries with homogeneous backgrounds are many in number. That is not the point, guys. So I think correct option should be option number C. A is correct, B is correct. C is not valid according to the context given in the passage. So this is the type of questions that they throw at you. Let's look at some other questions. Which of the following have been identified by the Chinese as their pitfalls from their past? Lack of orientation of science and technology towards economic growth. Yes. Lack of mechanisms in their economic activities to promote use of science and technology. Yes. Neglect of science and technology as a strategic measure for empowerment. I think all three are the correct options. Right. So these are very subtle questions if you have a good control over your reading ability, guys. So the point is, passages may be a tad difficult, not very difficult, but somewhere in between moderate to difficult, right? So you read the passage, you understand it thoroughly, and it's very easy for you to find these factual questions. Which of the following was the most possible outcome of the scientific and technological accomplishments of China which didn't come true, right? So again, very factual questions. With expected results of China's new vision, right? So again, very factual question which can be found out. According to the passage, the gap in terms of number of years between target development countries 20 to 30 years, right? That was simple. Which of the following catches the essence of the passage? Enormous population of the country can be positively yes. Should not be compared with each other. Yes, I think option A should be correct here. So these are very subtle questions, guys. And then there were 4 questions on vocabulary. So vocabulary is basically not asked separately. Synonyms and antonyms are asked on the basis of the reading comprehension, guys. So what they usually do is they bold out the word in the passage, and then they ask you to give the synonyms and antonyms, right? 2 synonyms, same, and 2 opposite, that are antonyms, right? And these words are given in bold to you in the passage, right? This one, endowments, and so such words are given to you in bold, so they're easy to find. So 6 questions are based on your comprehension, and 4 questions on synonyms and antonyms, guys. Right? So we saw 5 questions on rearrangement, then 10 questions on reading comprehension, 15 questions. Let's look further what we have ahead now. This was error detection, guys. So I think these were, let's look at a few. Let's see if we can find out the errors, and let's look at the level of questions as well. Apotheosis can mean nothing to them who hold that a man may be reborn as a god, but still needs redemption, and that men on earth may win redemption if they are brave enough. Guys, it's a simple grammatical rule. Whenever you use a relative pronoun, before a relative pronoun, we never use an objective pronoun. So it should be not them, it should be those. So guys, now if you are good at grammar, you'll be able to recognize these mistakes. So apotheosis can mean nothing to not them, should be can mean nothing to those who hold that a man may be reborn as a god. Let's look at another question. The January sun continued in its brilliance, and the rhythmic gliding across the crystal snow, though not exhausting, warmed the couple to the point where even their limited outer cover seemed extreme. This was a tricky one, guys. I know this was quite a tricky one. So I think the error was in fourth part, extreme part. So the word was wrongly used here. The January sun continued in its brilliance, and the rhythmic gliding across the crystal snow, though not exhausting, warmed the couple to the point where even their limited outer cover seemed um, excessive, not extreme. The word that should be used here should be excessive. So these are the type of questions that are given to you. So there were, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions on basis of error detection, right? Then again, sentence improvement. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions on sentence improvement. Guys, let's look at what needs to be done here. Sleep deprivation adverse in affects the brain and cognitive function, so working becomes difficult. So we had to find the right improvement of this question. So sleep deprivation adverse in affects. I think that's not correct. Is adversely affect? No. Adversely affects. Adverse effect. Adverse in effect? No. I think option B is correct here. Sleep deprivation adversely affects the brain and cognitive function, so working becomes difficult. Right. Let's try another one. The indefinite strike was more or less peaceful, thanks to the heavy military presence and the stringent measure announced for those who supported it. So stringent measures announced against those, measures announced for those, measures announced at those, or measures announced against those. So I think it should be option number A. So military presence and stringent measures announced against those who supported it. So that should be the correct improvement. So these are also based on your grammatical grammatical logic of the sentence, guys. So these 10 questions were based on your grammar, right? Then then again there were finding error detection. So this was again finding out the error in the part. Then again there were 4 statements given, and you had to find the incorrect statement. So there were 4 statements given to you, and you had to find the incorrect statement. So whichever statement had error in it had to be found. So this was again based on grammar. Then again you had to find incorrect statement. Then again another question for finding incorrect statement. Then 4 questions. That means there were 4 questions based on error detection. So that means 15 questions on grammar, then 4 questions on vocabulary, and 10 questions on reading comprehension, 5 questions on rearrangement, and then these were the last 10 questions. So guys, this was the close test. This was a whole big chunk of it was like a passage which had 10 blanks marked by these. So there were 10 blanks, and for every blank you were given 5 choices, and these were the choices given to you. So for every blank you had to find the apt word, and you had to place it in the right place. So basically, guys, if we look at the pattern of the paper, you must understand reading comprehension for 10 marks, close test for 10 marks, rearrangement for 5 marks. So this is the biggest chunk of this paper. The other rest 15 marks was based on grammar. Vocabulary was included in your reading comprehension. Basically, the catch here is, guys, reading comprehension. Now, section number 1. This takes time, but it is easy to comprehend and solve. I mean, there is accuracy. So after you read the passage and after you read the rearrangement carefully, you will be able to solve this. So this takes time, but it has accuracy. Now, grammar, it does not take it does not take any more than 30 seconds or 40 seconds to solve one question, but it requires accuracy. Now, if you are inaccurate about your answers, you will lose marks as quickly as you gain them, right? So basically, we have to prepare for these two sections, guys. Comprehension, close test, rearrangement. That's based on your comprehension and reading ability, right? And the other is grammar part, where we have to focus on your grammatical sense. Guys, so I took this session today for students who were busy in preparation for RBI. Now, guys, it is high time we started preparing for the upcoming exam, which is NABARD Phase 1. Guys, if you have any inquiry regarding the course or regarding our offerings, you can contact us on this number 8146207241, or you can also drop us an email at hello@edutap.co.in. Right, and this is our website if you wish to look at our courses. Guys, thank you so much for joining in this session. And from next session onwards, we will start practicing these topics, like reading comprehension, close test, error detection, sentence improvement. So we will start practicing these topics once again, and we will continue the series. Guys, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for listening so patiently. And guys, if you like the session, so you can press the like button, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do that. And guys, how did you find the session, guys? Was it useful for your preparation strategy? So now you know what type of questions you face in the exam, and if you prepare well for English, it can be very scoring for you, right? So thank you for the kind words, Aarti. Thank you, Madhushri. So guys, I'll see you again. So from next week onwards, the sessions will be on Thursdays and Fridays at 7 p.m. So from next week, Thursdays and Fridays, 7 p.m., there'll be English sessions. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining in. Take care, be safe, and happy learning to all of you, guys.